Denia is strong, but she is not plug and play. If you pull her and build her like a normal fusion damage dealer, you are probably missing the point of her kit. This is a practical base copy Denia guide. What her kit is trying to do, which mode matters for your account, which echoes and weapons make sense, and which teams actually want her. First, the official basics. Denia is a 5-star fusion rectifier from Wuthering Waves version 3.3. Ku Ro describes her around 2 resonance modes, Fusion Burst and Tune Strain. That already tells you the most important thing about her. Denia is not just here to press skills and leave. She's a specialist who changes value depending on whether your team is built around Fusion Burst, Tune Strain, or neither. Quick distinction. Fusion Burst and Tune Strain are the team plan resonance modes. Stagecraft and Breakdown are Denia's combat forms. Her combat loop is built around 2 forms. Stagecraft form is the setup side. You use it to start the rotation, build resources, and prepare the swap into Breakdown form. Breakdown form is the payoff side. This is where her enhanced attacks, fast skills, and second liberation window start doing the work. The plain English version is simple. You want Denia to enter, build enough Void Particle, switch forms with her liberation, spend that resource in Breakdown form, trigger her field and pull effects, then leave with the right outro buff for the next character. If that sounds more complicated than a normal sub DPS, that is because it is. But the reward is that Denia can compress damage, grouping, and team buffing into one short rotation. The biggest kit detail is her erosion field. After the Breakdown version of her liberation, she creates a field that lasts for a while and pulls nearby enemies every few seconds. The damage is treated as liberation damage. That field is why her utility matters beyond the raw damage number. It helps keep enemies together, adds off-field pressure, and makes the main damage dealer's window cleaner. Now for the rotation. The goal is not to stay on Denia forever. The goal is to build Void Particle, enter Breakdown form, spend it efficiently, then hand the fight back to your carry. For a basic no duplicas rotation, think of it like this. Intro, if available. Use Stagecraft basics and skill to build. Cast the Stagecraft Liberation to swap into Breakdown form. Use Breakdown attacks and skills to spend Void Particle, build Conformal Charge, then cast Final Act, Breakdown form for the field. Use the correct echo timing, then outro into your main damage dealer. If your Denia is going first in the team, she may need a longer opener to build enough resource before the real loop starts. If she is rotating after another character, the rotation feels much faster. That is why guides can disagree on how hard she feels to play. In a perfect team, she is quick. In the wrong team, she feels like a lot of buttons for less payoff. Skill priority is very straightforward. Level Resonance Liberation first, then Forte Circuit, then Resonance skill. Basic attack comes after that, and intro skill is the easy skip if your resources are tight. The reason is that Denia's most important damage and value are tied to the Liberation form swap, the Breakdown payoff, and the field. Her intro is useful, but it is not where most of the build lives. Now echoes. This is where Denia becomes account dependent. For a general Fusion Burst setup, Chromatic Foam is the clean default. The set gives fusion damage and an outro fusion buff, while Denia's own outro amplifies fusion burst damage. If your plan is to support a fusion burst carry, start here. For Tune Strain teams, Reel of Spliced Memories is the important set. That setup is not about pretending Denia is a normal fusion buffer. It is about supporting a team that actually cares about Tune Strain and Tune Break value. There's also a special case, Flaming Clawprint. In iMyth plus Lupa setups, especially with Lupa on Moonlit Clouds, Flaming Clawprint can be preferred because it gives team fusion damage after liberation while also improving Denia's own liberation damage. So do not ask, what is Denia's one best echo set? Ask, which team am I building her for? For main stats, keep it practical. 4 cost echo, crit rate, or crit damage, depending on your ratio. 3 cost echoes, fusion damage, with attack percent as the fallback if your pieces are better. 1 cost echoes, attack percent. For substats, get enough energy regeneration to keep the rotation stable, then prioritize crit rate, crit damage, liberation damage, attack percent, and flat attack after that. Liberation damage gains value in Toon Strain. In Fusion Burst, attack percent can be equal or slightly stronger. If the rotation feels clunky, energy regeneration is not a fake stat. Smooth rotations beat prettier screenshots. Now weapons. Denia's signature, Forged Dwarf Star, is her best committed option overall, especially for Toon Strain, because it gives personal damage and team value at the same time. That matters because Denia is not only judged by her own numbers, she is judged by how much better the next character's window becomes. If you do not have the signature, premium rectifier stat sticks can still work, especially if they give crit or strong general damage stats. String Master is the obvious generalist comparison because it gives crit rate and strong damage value. In Fusion Burst, it is close enough that the signature is more luxury than must pull. Other premium rectifier options can still work if your account has them. For lower investment options, do not overthink the first week. Use your best available rectifier with useful stats, then replace it later if you commit to Denia long term. For no gotcha starts, the Waltz weapon is better for Fusion Burst, while the attack percent starter is better for Toon Strain. Neither should be treated like the final build. The team section is the most important part of this guide. Denia is not for every Fusion account. Her best value shows up when the team already wants the mechanics she supports. The first lane is Fusion Burst. That means pairing Denia with a carry who actually benefits from Fusion Burst support, with A Myth being the big example people are building around right now. In that kind of team, Denia's job is to set up buffs, group enemies, add field pressure, and then outro into the carry's real damage window. The second lane is Toon Strain. That is where Luke, Her, Sen teams come in. In those teams, Denia's value is more specialized. She is not just a fusion damage slot. She is helping the team lean into the Toon Strain package. That is why some people call her narrow and still call her strong. Both can be true. She can be amazing in the right shell, and a luxury pull in the wrong one. If you have A Myth and want the stronger Fusion Burst package, Denia makes sense. If you have Luke Herson and are building Toon Strain seriously, Denia makes sense. If you are missing both lanes, Denia becomes harder to recommend unless she is your favorite. And if you are a low-spend player, this is the real pull value question. Do you have the team that makes Denia feel premium? Or are you pulling her first and hoping the team appears later? That is not automatically wrong. Favorites matter. But if your goal is account power, Denia is not the safest universal upgrade. She is a specialized upgrade, so here's the short version. Build Denia around the mode your team actually uses. Chromatic Foam for general Fusion Burst support, Rel of Spliced Memories for Toon Strain, Flaming Claw Print for A Myth and Lupa Fusion setups in particular, especially when Lupa is carrying Moonlit Clouds. Prioritize Liberation, then Forte, then Skill. Use her signature if you are committed, but do not force the weapon banner just because she looks strong in a showcase. And most important, test the rotation before you commit. If the form swap, resource build, and breakdown window feel natural, Denia can be one of the cleanest specialist upgrades in the patch. If the rotation feels awkward and you do not own the right carry, saving is not a skill issue. It is just good account planning. Denia is powerful. But she is powerful for the accounts that know exactly what job they are hiring her to do.